Welcome to another video for Class 10 students. I've brought some objective type questions which were asked in all the three sets of 30/3 series in 2026 board exam. Students usually feel that the 1 mark section is challenging because they don't know how to solve these 1 marks in lesser steps. In this video, we are going to discuss a few tricks and techniques that will help you solve most of the MCQs in about 1 to 1.5 minutes. We'll get started. This is the first question. The number of multiples of 6 lying between 25 and 363. So what I will do is I will take that multiple before 25 or rather after 25, so that would be 30, and that multiple of 6 before 363, so that should be 360. 360 is the 60th multiple of 6. 30 should be the fifth multiple of 6, which means we have not included the first four multiples of 6. So out of 60 multiples, the first four were not included, which means we have included the remaining 60 minus 4, which is equal to 56 multiples. So the number of such multiples would be 56. This is an AP question. I'm not using any of the formulas related to AP. I've solved it purely using logic. Moving on to the next question. Two dice are rolled together. The probability that the sum of the numbers divisible by 6. So the numbers that can be divisible by 6 are only 6 and 12. For obtaining 12, we have to roll a 6 comma 6. To obtain 6, you'll have to obtain 1 comma 5, 5 comma 1, 2 4, and 4 2, and 3 comma 3. So the total such favorable outcomes would be 5 out of, or rather 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of 36. So the answer should be the total favorable outcomes is 6. The total number of possible outcomes is 36 because two dice are rolled. The total answer would be 1 by 6. Moving on to the next question. In the given figure, triangle ABC is an equilateral triangle. All the sides are equal. AD is the median of the triangle joining points A and D. So this becomes, it's a median, it's also the height. In an equilateral triangle, the median is same as the height. It's also the perpendicular bisector. Now, we know the height of the equilateral triangle. The formula is root 3 by 2a, and that is equal to, now this is origin and this is along the same axis, which is the y-axis. The distance would be, that is the height would be 5 root 3 by 2. So using this, you can find out that a is equal to 5. If a is equal to 5, this part is what? This part is 5 by 2. So C has to be 5 by 2 comma 0 because we are moving along the positive x-axis 5 by 2 units, and if you move along the negative x-axis, that would be minus 5 by 2 comma 0. I'm not using any fancy formulas here. It's purely logic. Only formula that I'm using is this. Okay. So the answer would be minus 5 by 2 comma 0 for point B and plus 5 by 2 comma 0. So the option should be option B. The next question. The median and mode of a distribution are 25.2 and 26.1 respectively. This is using the empirical relation between mean, median, and mode. So that would be mode is equal to 3 times the median minus 2 times the mean. Now we need to rearrange this formula. So that would become 2 mean is equal to 3 times median minus the mode. So 3 times median is 25.2, 3 into 25.2 minus mode is 26.1. So that is equal to 3 into 25.2 is 75.6 minus 26.1, which is equal to 49.5. That is 2 times of mean. So the mean should be half of that, which is 24.75. Option A is the correct answer. On to the next question. It is given that triangle ABC is similar to triangle QRP. AB is equal to 9 centimeter. So what I'm going to do is similarity is given. So I'm going to take the corresponding sides that are proportional. So AB by QR is equal to BC by PR. So that is equal to AC divided by PQ. We are supposed to find QR. So QR is involved here, AB is given, and BC and PR are also given. So I'm going to use this relation. Now AB we know is what, 9 divided by, we are supposed to find QR. So that is equal to BC is 5 centimeter and PR is 2 centimeter. So if you cross multiply and divide, so QR is equal to 18 by 5. So that would be 3.6. Do we have an option? Yes, option D is the correct answer. On to the next question. A polynomial which has sum of its zeros equal to the product, which means minus b by a is equal to sum of its zeros is equal to the product of zeros, which means the negative coefficient of x should be equal to the constant part. Now, is it possible here the negative coefficient of x is not equal to the constant? The negative coefficient of x is not equal to the constant. The negative coefficient of x is here equal to the constant. So option C is the correct answer. This would also fail the condition. In the given figure, PQ and PR are tangents to a circle with center O and radius 3 centimeter. Okay. If QPR is 60 degrees, then find the length of each tangent. You can draw the hypotenuse here. Now, this gets bisected. These two are congruent triangles, and this is 30 and this is also 30. We are supposed to find the length of the tangent QP. So I'm going to use tan 30. It's a mix of circle concept and trigonometry concept. Why am I using tan 30? Because the opposite side is given. The adjacent side is asked. The tangent's length is asked. So tan 30 is equal to OQ divided by QP. Tan 30's value is 1 by root 3. So that is equal to, do we know OQ? Yes, that's 3. Do we know the tangent's length? So QP is equal to 3 root 3. That is option A. So it has to occur to you that it's a mix of trigonometry as well as circles. It's not just purely circles concept. Okay, because you have to make this construction. OP has to be made, and also you have to observe that 60 degrees is getting bisected as 30 and 30. And in triangle OQP, we have the opposite side's value and the adjacent side is asked, and the angle is also given. So you apply trigonometry here. Moving on to the next question. In this given figure, OA times OB is equal to OC times OD. Now, this is OA into OB and OC into OD. So what we can do is OA and OC, that can be equated to OD and OB, correct? So OA divided by OC, because they are part of two different triangles, OD divided by OB, and these two angles are equal. They are equal by vertically opposite angles concept. So angle O is equal to angle O. Now we have two similar triangles. So the first triangle, I'm writing it in any order. So AOD is similar to triangle. So O is equal to O. So for A, now in this case, AO should be, so we can write it in two ways. One is it can be So BOC, or it can be triangle COB. Now we have to check whether this one's correct, or I mean this one's correct or this one's correct from the given ratio, which is equal, right? So AO by BO. If I use this, if I use this AO by BO, and is that equal to OD by OC? That's not correct. So what about this? In this case, AO divided by CO, that is equal to OD divided by OB. So this triangle fits perfectly here. So it should be AOD. So this does not fit in here. So triangle AOD is similar to triangle COB. So this one's correct. Now using this, we have to check whether the given options is correct. Which of these is correct? Now A is equal to C, that is correct. Angle A is equal to angle C is correct. Angle A and angle B, they are not equal. Angle A and angle D, they are also not equal. OAD is similar to OAD is similar to, it should have been OCB, but it is given in a different order. So option D is also ruled out. So the correct option is option A. On to the next question. Using trigonometric values, so 1 by 2 tan 45 is 1 minus cos 60 is 1 by 2. So minus 1 by 4 because there's a square here. 1 by 2 minus 1 by 4, so that should be a half minus a quarter, so that is 1 by 4. Option C is the correct answer. Question number 10. A cone of maximum size is carved out from a solid cube of edge L. Okay. So the height of the cone is also equal to L, and also the diameter of the cone should also be L. Now the radius would be L by 2. So we have the radius, we have the height. Using this, we can find the volume of the cone. So volume of the cone would be 1 by 3 pi r square h. So 1 by 3 pi, in place of r, I'm going to use L by 2 the whole square. In place of h, I'm going to use L. So that should be pi by 3 L cube divided by 2 also gets squared. So it becomes 4 here. So the answer should be pi by 12 L cube. So the option A is the correct one. The next question. This is a simple question because you have 3 into 11 into 13. You don't have to multiply it. It is going to be an odd number. How much ever odd numbers you multiply, the product of all such odd numbers is always going to be an odd number unless there is an even number in it. So the product of these three numbers together is odd. Odd plus another odd is always going to be an even number, and it's going to be a bigger even number than 2. So it is definitely not a prime number, and it's a composite number for sure. It's not an odd number. Is it a number divisible by 13? That we will check, because 3 into 11, if you take out a 13 common out, so 3 into 11 plus 3 by 13. So this is not even a whole number, right? So this cannot be a number which is divisible by 13. So this is ruled out. Option C is the correct answer. Okay. On to the next question. Sine 2 alpha is equal to root 3 by 2, and root 3 by 2 we know what it is. It is sine 60, which means sine 2 alpha is sine 60. 2 alpha is 60 degrees. So alpha is 30 degrees. So sine 3 alpha is sine 90 degrees, which is equal to 1. Option C is the correct answer. On to the next question. If the length of the shadow of a tower is root 3 times that of its height, find the altitude of the sun. This is one of the commonly repeated questions from this chapter. Now let's assume the sun is here, and the altitude of the sun is, now we need to find this angle here. the shadow's length is root 3 times the height of the tower. So this has to be h and this has to be root 3 times of h. Now we need to find what is this angle theta. So tan theta is equal to h divided by root 3 h. H and h, they get cancelled. So it becomes 1 by root 3. So tan theta is 1 by root 3 when theta is equal to 30 degrees. So option B is the correct answer. 14th question. Equation of a line coincident with 2.5x minus 2y is equal to 3. Now recall the concept of coincident lines. Two lines coincide if the ratios a1 by a2, b1 by b2, c1 by c2, they're all equal. We need to find which of the equations has the same ratio with that of 2.5x minus 2y equal to 3. So now, uh, in other words, we can say that it has to be the same equation. Whatever is given, that equation, if there is another line equation that is almost the same, not almost, exactly the same as the given equation, then that line equation is coincident with the given line. So which means we'll check one equation at a time. What about this? 5x is 2 times of 2.5 minus 2y is 4y here. So it is also 2 times. The constant remains 3. It has to be 6. So option A is ruled out. 5x, okay, minus 4y, okay, and plus 6, okay, but the problem here is it's on LHS. It should have been on the RHS. So if it was something like 5x minus 4y is equal to 6, then it would have been correct. Now that would be option D. 5x minus 4y minus 6 is equal to 0. Option D is the perfect answer. So here this is 6 times and 6 times, but 3 should also have been 6 times, which is 18. So 3, it is still here. So option C is ruled out. I hope you are understanding it. On to the next question. This is an AP question. Nth term of the AP is, if you look at all the denominators, they're all 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the numerator part. So minus 1, 2, 5, 8, and so on. Correct? Now I'm going to frame an nth term formula for this. This 3 is going to be a constant factor in all of these terms. Now look at only the numerator part. So an is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. A is what? Minus 1 plus n minus 1. We don't know what is n. We are finding the nth term here. So d is what? Plus 3. It's an increasing arithmetic progression sequence. So the answer should be minus 1 plus 3n minus 3. So that should be equal to 3n minus 4. And 3n minus 4 is only for the numerator part. But we still have a by 3 term in the denominator. So the answer should be 3n minus 4, the whole divided by 3. If we split the common denominator, we will get n minus 4 by 3. So 3n by 3 is what? N minus 4 by 3. So n minus 4 by 3, which is option B. That is the correct answer. On to the next question. In this figure, PT is the tangent to the circle with center O and radius R. If POT is 45 degrees, so this is 45 degrees, so which means this is R and this is also R. Okay, this is 90 degrees. The radius is perpendicular to the tangent. This is also R. TP is also equal to R. So OP is equal to R root 2. That's it. Because when you have a broken square, if this is side A, this is side A, this should be side A root 2. So this is R here, this is R here, R root 2. So option A is the correct answer. If two angles are 45 and 45, it resembles a half broken square, right? The diagonal of a square is A root 2. I'm using that concept here. Moving on to the next question. The roots of the quadratic equation are, So x minus 1 is equal to plus or minus 4. X is equal to 1 plus 4. The other answer is 1 minus 4. So the answer is 5 comma minus 3. So option C is the correct answer. On to the next question. If the roots of the quadratic equation are real and equal, so if you come across this real and equal roots, what you have to do is b square is equal to 4ac, or b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. What is b, what is a here? So a is root 3, b is minus k, and c is 2 root 3. So b square is k square, that is equal to 4 times of root 3 times of 2 root 3. So k square should be equal to 4 into 2, 8, 8 into 3 is 24. So 8 into 3 is 24. So k should be equal to two possible values are there. So plus or minus root of 24. So option A is the correct answer. On to the next question. So assertion reasoning questions, assertion statement for 19th. Tan 2 theta is not defined when theta is equal to 45 degrees. So we'll check that. So tan 2 times of 45 degrees, which is equal to tan 90. The value of tan 90 is sin 90 by cos 90. Sin 90 is 1, cos 90 is 0. So the denominator is 0. So 1 by 0 is not defined. So this statement is true. Sin 90 is not equal to cos 90. This statement is also true. Whether this is the correct explanation for the assertion, that is not so. Sin 90 is not equal to cos 90. So this is not, this is not the correct explanation, but reason is still a standalone true statement. Assertion is again true statement. So we have reason is not the correct explanation. So it should be option B. On to the next question. Radius is the smallest distance of a tangent from the center of the circle. This is a true statement. I'll tell you why. Whenever there is a point and a line, the shortest distance, you can draw many distances from this line. From this line to this point. But the shortest distance between the line and the point would always be the perpendicular distance drawn. So radius is the smallest such distance. So when you have a circle and a tangent, the radius connects the center and the tangent. So radius is the smallest such distance because it's a perpendicular line segment to the tangent, correct? So it has to be the smallest distance of the tangent that connects the center of the circle. So this statement is true. Radius is perpendicular to the tangent is also true. So radius, I told you just now, radius is the smallest distance. That is because radius is perpendicular to the tangent, and that is because of this concept I told you. The shortest distance of a line from a point is the perpendicular line drawn from the line to the point, correct? So radius is perpendicular to the tangent. This word is very important here. So radius, the reason explains the assertion. So reason is the correct explanation of the assertion statement. So option A would be the correct answer. There are certain questions that came different in the other sets. We'll discuss those also here. In triangle DEF, AB is parallel to EF. You don't have to give the explanation that according to BPT and so on. So you just have to take directly the ratios and solve. So 2x divided by 3x plus 1. So that is equal to x divided by 2x minus half. If you cross multiply, you will get 3x square plus x, and 2x into 2x is 4x square. 2x times half is x. So 4x square minus x. So you now have bring all the terms to the left hand side. So 4x square minus 3x square is x square minus 2x. So that is equal to 0. If you take x common out, so that will be what? X minus 2. So that is equal to 0. X should be equal to 0 and x should be equal to 2. The catch here is x cannot be equal to 0. The line segment cannot have a 0 length to it. So 0 comma 2 is definitely not correct. Option B is the correct answer. You have to be a little careful about it. Even though you're getting two possible values for x, mathematically it's correct. If you solve the equation, mathematically you're getting two values and they are both correct. But you'll have to check whether x can be 0 because x is a line segment. It cannot have 0 length. So option B is the correct one. The number of multiples lying between 12 and 250. It says between, which means you will have to skip the starting number and skip the final number. You will have to take numbers starting from 13, 14 and so on until 249. So before 249 you have 248. So I mean before 13 there is a 12, but we are not going to include that, so which means we are going to exclude the first three multiples of 4. 248 is the 62nd multiple of 4, so 62 minus 3, so that should be 59 is the answer. 62 out of 62 multiples, I've excluded 3 multiples, the first 3 multiples, so the answer should be 59. Option A is the correct answer. 3 coins are tossed together. The probability of getting exactly one head is, now one head, exactly one head. So it can be what? Head followed by tails, tails. It can be head, tails preceding that and tails after that. Heads at the final position, tails and tails. So there are 3 possible favorable outcomes, correct? N of f is equal to 3. The number of total outcomes when 3 coins are tossed, that would be 8. So the probability would be 3 on 8. Option D is the correct answer. On to the next question. Equation of another line parallel to the line represented by. If two lines are parallel, then you have this ratio. So A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2. So that is not equal to C1 by C2. The constants differ. So we're going to take the ratios here. 3x minus y is equal to 7, and these two would not be in the same ratio, and 2x plus 6y is equal to 9. So that is also not in the same ratio because the b1 b2 is not the same as a1 a2 in option B. So the first one is ruled out, B is ruled out, and x minus 3y is equal to 7. This has to be half of that. It has to be 7 by 2. Now option C is also ruled out, so which means option D is the most appropriate answer. So here x, so x is getting halved, 7 is getting halved, and 6y has gotten halved. So it should have been x plus 3y is equal to 7 by 2. There is a problem here. X plus 3y is equal to 7 by 2 is not also correct. So now we'll have to go revisit one of the earlier options. 2x plus 6y, 2x plus 6y is equal to, so this is also not correct. Option B is also not correct. What about this one? Yeah, I think this one is correct because x minus 3y, so x has gotten halved, 3y has gotten halved, all that is correct. 7 need not have gotten halved. So the constant alone differs, correct? The constant alone will not be proportional to the proportion, the ratio of the other two ratios, right? Now, this one is the most correct answer. Option A, B and D, they're all ruled out. I stand corrected. I said C might not be the correct answer, but C is the correct answer. The sum and product of zeros of a quadratic polynomial are minus 1 by 3 and plus 2. Now you know how to frame the polynomial. So that would be x square minus sum of roots into x plus product of roots. So that is equal to x square minus, in place of sum of roots, you will have minus 1 by 3 x plus product of roots is 2. Now you have to attach a k in front of it because there are multiple polynomials possible depending on the k value. Now, in order to make the coefficients all rational, I mean, here it is rational. In other cases, the coefficients are all whole numbers. So what I can do is I can multiply the whole polynomial with 3 so that it becomes what, 3x square plus x plus 6. Do we have an option here? So 3x square plus x plus 6 can also be multiplied with minus 1 further, and that can be equal to minus 3x square minus x minus 6. So option D is the correct answer. What about this one? X square, okay. Plus 3 plus 1 by 3x is also okay, but here it is minus 2, but it has to be plus 2. So option B is ruled out. Option D is the most appropriate answer. The value of 1 by 3 cot square 30. So we know tan 30 is what? 1 by root 3. So cot 30 should be what? Root 3. Cot square 30 should be 3. So 1 by 3 times of 3 minus 1 by 2. So cos 60 is what? 1 by 2. So secant 60 would be just 2. And secant square 60 is 4. Now you have 1 minus 2. So the answer is minus 1. Option A is the correct answer. So we have come to the end of this video. I hope you must have understood some of the techniques that we follow in order to solve these questions in quicker time. Let me know in the comment section and we'll meet in another video. Bye-bye.